This isn't the first time I've covered Blaire White on this channel, and it definitely won't be the last time. Titanium Blaire White is probably one of the most harmful figures to the trans community that I can think of off the top of my head. And I'm not even lying about that. A lot of the time, people who are fans of Blaire White will engage in identity politics, and they'll be like, well, Blaire White can't be transphobic, she's trans. You know, the identity politics shit, which I plan on talking about later. Hey, 21st Century Socialist, thank you for the 50 SEK. Says, first time donating to you. Merry conservatives seem to be winning in the UK. Whew. We'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if fucking Boris gets elected. Oh, God. But like I was saying, I do plan on covering the topic of identity politics and why it's bad in a different video maybe, but for now, we're going to be covering Blaire White. Now, I think we've already... So the topic that Blaire White covers in this video is the same topic that Lauren Chen covered in the video that we covered a few days ago. So it's going to be a lot of the same defenses, but from the point of view of Blaire White, who is probably one of the most insufferable people out there. But this video is pretty short. As you can see here, it's just about 10 minutes long. Just enough to get that ad revenue. Now, my favorite thing is, one thing that you'll know is that Blaire White likes to use this person here on the left as a like a straw man of trans people, particularly non-binary people. Not even kidding. If we go into her videos, she has this tendency to do this, where she likes to make... Because her videos are meant to appeal to transphobes, which is why this is the thumbnail of this video. It's also why, if we scroll down a little bit to the video where she tries to defend herself against claims she's transphobic, she photoshops a beard on this trans woman. I'm not even fucking kidding. I've shown this on stream before. She photoshopped a beard on the trans person who wrote an article about her for the thumbnail. That's who we're dealing with here. Blaire White is a piece of shit. Like, fuck her. I honestly don't believe she has any humanity left in her. But regardless, let's do this thing. I'm gonna turn it up to like... it's 10 minutes. Let's just watch.
I use the pronouns she and her, and I'm queer identified.
Everyone born with a vulva is a girl. True or false?
Or identifies as a girl.
We already covered this Lauren Chen thing. Nothing that's been shown so far is a problem. None of this is bad.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I feel like I'm dressed for a wedding or something.
Jesus
Listen up,
Christ.
kids and parents. It's time to stop learning about your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s and get into learning about your LGBTs.
Okay, can I just point something out right now? Is there something wrong with her eyes? Is she wearing contacts, and that's what I'm noticing right now? I don't understand jack shit about women. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, at least like they're like women's makeup, beauty, bullshit, whatever the fuck. But is there's something weird about her eyes. Like outside of the little dot there, like it looks like there's some sort of like a corona or something. I'm not talking about the reflection of the ring light. I know what that is. But I guess it's contacts, maybe? I really don't know. I would think she'd be wearing colored contacts, but those aren't colored contacts. I don't know. Let's just continue. Also, already the framing here is really fucked up. No one is insisting that kids shouldn't be learning science or math or their ABCs or whatever the fuck, and instead they should learn about, like, gender studies or whatever, and LGBT issues. No one's claiming that. Like, you are very dishonestly framing this already, Blaire.
Actually, hold on. It's the LGBTTIQQ2. Yeah, the number.
There's literally... It's just, haha, thing is long. Look, fuck it, it's a lot of numbers now. Look, it should stop at LGBT. Haha. Yeah, that's the joke. Look, it's too long now. That's the joke. Multiple letters, haha.
SA pluses. That. Alright guys, so today we are responding to this video that is just dreadful. And I don't think I've ever even used that adjective to describe
That was the second joke too. Let's see if we get an attack helicopter meme here.
anything, but I can't. That's what came out of my mouth. Sure, we may not even be able to agree on a fucking acronym, but we're definitely still going to teach your kids everything there is to know. Or everything.
That was such a nothing right there that I'm not even going to acknowledge it. That was literally just that was such a nothing point. I'm not even going to acknowledge it.
And we make up every other month. Okay. It's a video about LGBT and sex
education. Wait, what did she say? Hold on.
Or everything we make up.
No. Hold on.
I don't think I've ever even used that adjective to describe anything, but I can't. That's what came out of my mouth. Sure, we may not even be able to agree on a fucking acronym, but we're definitely still going to teach your kids everything there is to know. Or everything we make up every other month. Okay. It's a video about LGBT and sex education for kids and girl or boy or whoever you are watching this. You'll see. It's awful. Because of...
We've already watched the video. It's literally not awful. Everything about it is unbelievably reasonable. It's unbelievably reasonable. There's nothing wrong with it. The reason why this, like, triggers snowflake conservatives is because, if we can go ahead and go back to the fucking screen she shows, it's because, oh no, people dressed weird or unconventionally, that triggers me. I'm a conservative with fucking paper-thin skin. That sets me off. That's literally all it is.
Of course, right now it's all the rage to teach kids as young as 5 everything there is to know about LGBT. It's interesting how all this...
Wait, why is that a problem? No, I actually haven't had a conservative explain to me how this is a problem. I literally haven't. There is literally nothing at all wrong with teaching children as young as fucking 3 or 4 what gender and sexuality is. Because guess what? If you are anything but asexual, if you are attracted to any group of people, you are going to have your first crush in probably like 1st grade, maybe kindergarten. I don't know. I remember I had my first crush when I was in kindergarten. There was a girl when I was in kindergarten. There was another girl in my class, and I had a crush on her. So it would probably be a good idea to teach you what sexuality was back then. Like, hey, yeah, there's straight people and they like the different genders than like what they are, and there's gay people and they like people of the same gender as them. It's that simple. You don't have to explain to them, like, you don't have to explain to a 5-year-old, like, fucking how to have sex and wear a condom and shit like that to teach them about sexuality and gender. There's nothing inappropriate about sexuality. Kids have crushes. Maybe if they don't know about sex, maybe they just want to kiss them or hug them or hold their hand. You can teach them what their attraction is. You can teach them what gender is. There's literally nothing sexual about gender. There's nothing inappropriate about teaching kids these things, even as young as 5. There's nothing wrong, especially transgender issues. There's nothing wrong there. Explain to me how it's wrong other than, oh, it's different and that freaks you out.
About LGBT. It's interesting how all this new wave of teaching kids about being gay and trans and bi, etc. is actually doing the opposite of what it should be. Acceptance of LGBT people among the younger generation is actually going down.
Yes! Because of people like you! Yes! I don't know where she's citing this. I would actually be surprised if this is true, but if it is, then okay. If in reality, young people are becoming less accepting of LGBT people, it's not because we're teaching them about LGBT or trans issues. It's because people like you make content that caters to, that spreads transphobia and homophobia, and specifically is targeted at younger people. I wouldn't say your videos are targeted at, like, fucking children, but you're obviously aiming for, like, the demographic of, like, I would say 14, 15, and, like, up to 20, you know? Like the, hey girl kind of aesthetic she goes for. Yeah, no wonder. Yeah, the alt-right rabbit hole is the thing. Young people are being radicalized to bigotry by the right, by content that is targeted towards them. Literally, this argument plays towards me.
First time in a very long time. So let's just get to reacting, shall we? You can get these stickers in my merch store, by the way.
Really?
Hi, I'm Facelift. I use the pronouns she and her, and I'm queer identified.
Okay, so a little bit of tea for you guys. This drag queen in the orange hair actually was in a previous video of mine and they threatened to sue me for talking about them. So we'll see if...
No! Oh, she's already lying! No! Hey guys, do you want to know why the facelift here threatened to sue Blaire White? Who wants to... Hey, guess what? Guess what? Oh, this is good. Oh, you slimy piece of shit, Blaire White. Oh, you slimy little piece of shit. You stupid fucking piece of shit. So a few months back, Blaire White did a video about pedophile drag queens, and in the thumbnail, she's since changed it. She put that person in the thumbnail when the story was about a completely different person. Put a completely different person in the thumbnail, and like I would fucking sue somebody if they made a video called Pedophile Drag Queen and then had me in the fucking thumbnail when the video wasn't even about me. Where is it? Because it's a different thumbnail now, but I can find the original video. Fuck, it was like something Pedophile Drag Queen. Let's see. Here, this video, right here. This was the video. The original video had facelift, the person that was just talking with the orange hair and the beard. That was the person in the thumbnail. When it was really about this person who we see here. But this person doesn't really come off as like, you know, when you think of like pedophile, drag queen, or whatever Blaire White wants you to think, this person doesn't look disgusting. This person doesn't look like a predator. In the traditional sense, right? Like, you wouldn't feel uncomfortable being in the same room as this person if you're like a snowflake conservative. And so Blaire White purposefully used a picture of this person in the thumbnail when this person had nothing to do with it. It was literally slander. It was literally defamation. But that's cool. Already, Blaire White being a slimy little lying piece of shit. Awesome. Love it.
And her... and I'm queer identified.
Okay, so a little bit of tea for you guys. This drag queen in the orange hair actually was in a previous video of mine, and they threatened to sue me for talking about them. So we'll see if they threaten to sue again, but try me, bitch.
And I am Fluffy Souffle. I use they, them, because I'm a non-binary performer.
Of course you are.
What are some other sexuality terms
How is that a gotcha? Okay.
that people identify as?
Asexual.
Asexual, yeah. And that means that it's somebody that might have romantic interests, but they don't have sex. They generally. Any others?
Gay.
Gay, totally.
Lesbian?
Yes, lesbian for sure.
I should point out right here, and I've done this before, I'm not going to like harp on this too much, but when I covered the Lauren Chen's covering of this video, the kids like genuinely seemed interested. Like, they're raising their hands, and they're clearly interested in this topic. They aren't like bored or grossed out or uncomfortable. Like, this girl's like smiling. They seem like they're genuinely interested in learning about this topic. I just like to point that out really quick.
Nobody's mentioned straight.
Nobody's mentioned straight.
Wait, why do they keep stopping on this? They ask, can any of you guys think of a sexuality? They list a bunch of things, and then they're like, yes, straight is also one too. You guys forgot about straight. Like, how is that? Okay.
Nobody's mentioned straight. Straight people. Oh my god, that's so 19.
Oh yeah, also, should I should also mention, really quick, for those of you guys who haven't seen my Lauren Chen video, you were right. These are the same exact clips, because these same clips of the story that were getting passed around, if we go to Twitter, it was like, it's some fucking Twitter account, it's an anti-LGBT, hate group, that was spreading around these same clips. If we go to the Lauren Chen video, actually, she links it. We'll go ahead and check it out really quick, because I think it's very important to see where Blaire White here is getting these clips from. Here we go. This is where it gets very interesting. So you might have noticed, if you've seen my coverage of the Lauren Chen video on this topic, where is it? Come on. There it is. Pause, please. Okay. Lauren Chen in this video covers the exact same clips, and even... unless she doesn't cite it. Okay, we'll have to watch the video up until she says where it is.
Our final segment, LGBTQ in school.
All right.
Not everybody is.
It's at question LGBTEDU. These are where the clips came from, and I know for a fact, because they're the same exact clips, this is where Blaire White got them too. This is an anti-LGBT hate group. They have blocked all the gay people on Twitter. This is just it's just a straight-up anti-gay, anti-trans hate group. That's all this is. The clips that you've been seeing in these videos that conservatives have been covering about this topic are all from this hate group's Twitter page. This is where they come from. This account is run by TERFs and by TradCon homophobes. So nice to see. Now we know where Blaire here is getting these clips from. Just thought I'd point that out. For any of you guys who are like maybe a little iffy on, well, I wouldn't say she's transphobic. Maybe she's just self-hate. No, she is maliciously transphobic. Blaire White is maliciously homophobic, maliciously transphobic. She is malicious in her hatred and her bigotry.
1990s. Okay, I forgot to say in the video that it's so crazy how these kids are being taught about all this non-binary, you know, genderqueer, all this, but what they really need to be learning and be teaching in school is financial planning. I didn't use any of the advanced math.
What? I actually spit out my water from that. I spit out my water from that. Wow. Wow, hold on. Imagine thinking this is a point. Imagine, yeah, teach financial planning to 5-year-olds. Even if you want to make that point, which you probably could, what stops them from teaching this too? You realize that in school you learn, like, a variety of things, right? Like, why not both? Yeah. You realize that you can learn math and science and history and geography and geology and chemistry and calculus and geometry. And we learn, when you're in school, you learn all sorts of different topics, not just one thing. So, yeah, this is just Blaire White coming up with it. Like, this is literally just a bullshit excuse. What are you in school for an hour a day? Most kids spend, what, 8 hours in school, if I remember correctly? It's from, like, what, 8 to 2 for, most elementary schoolers? Yeah, that's like, it's 8 hours that you spend in school, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 6 to 7, sometimes 8 hours. When I was in elementary school, it was 8. There's a lot you can teach in 8 hours. There's a lot of downtime, too. A lot of what we would call busy work when I was in school, where they literally just hand out fucking papers and have you fill out times tables or whatever the fuck. Like, just downtime where there isn't really anything to do in that time, so they just give you fucking worksheets. If you can learn, like, maybe we should be squeezing financial, like, teaching financial awareness or awareness of gender and sex in there, and sexuality and stuff like that. There's plenty of free time already.
Math theories they taught me in life, honey, as an adult. However, they had no problem sending me on my merry way into adulthood knowing nothing about taxes, investing, properties, mortgages.
She's going on.
Girl.
She's still going.
Teach me how to survive.
She's still going on about it.
Anyways, bye.
She's still going on about it.
Yeah.
If you were a girl and like you're little, how did you like change to become like a boy?
I'm sorry, but if a little kid asked me a question like that, I would respond pretty much exactly like this. You'll learn when you're older, little boy. Don't ask me questions like that. It doesn't concern you. Don't worry about it. Don't concern yourself with it. Go play hopscotch. Do whatever the hell y'all do.
So like,
listen, if I but at the same time, apparently kids need to learn how to do taxes and shit. You'll learn when you're older. It's none of your business. Go play hopscotch. Can we just acknowledge how much of, like, not a point Blaire White has made in this entire video? What is inappropriate about it? Okay, let's see if Blaire White doesn't cut it out. Let's see how this person responds to that question. none of it is inappropriate. And I even remember there's a point where they ask what this person's genitals are, and they change the subject and say, I don't really want to talk about that. That's what set off Lauren Shen. So let's see what happens.
Do you have male or female parts?
Oh! She did cut it out. Well, she didn't cut out this part, but she cut out where they explain how they transitioned, how when they were younger... Hold on. That's actually really fucking scummy of Blaire. That's, like, super dishonest. Also, look, I was right! Look, the ad is there! Hold on. I was right. I thought maybe she... Look at that! Question LGBT EDU right there, the literal anti-LGBT hate group right up there in the top right corner. That's where she got all these, literally all these channels that are covering this got their clips from this literal anti-LGBT hate group fucking Twitter account. Yes! How do I do it? How am I right every time? Fuck yeah. But can we acknowledge what a lying, dishonest piece of shit Blaire is here for cutting out where this person explains how they transitioned when they were younger, because it's very appropriate, and there was nothing inappropriate about the way they described the process. But I do like how Blaire just went ahead and fucking cut that out.
I'm sure a lot of people ask, or a lot of people are wondering that. For me personally, I have had top surgery, which means that I had, the technical term is a double mastectomy. So I did have my breasts removed. So I have scars here on my chest. And then I really only talk about kind of what's in my pants if people are getting in there.
It's just so uncomfortable.
The person literally changed the subject and was like, I'm not telling you. That was literally the response there, like, I only tell them if it's their business, bro. Jesus Christ. Blaire is triggered. This is Blaire's triggered face. That's literally Blaire's... Okay. That is perfect. That is actually perfect. They literally did what she said. They literally said, you'll find out when you're older, like, you don't need to know that. That's literally what they said. On top of that, can we just acknowledge that I'm uncomfortable is literally the entire, like, if you took all of Blaire White's arguments she has against this video and you compiled them together to, like, one thesis as to why she sees this as a problem, it's just, I'm uncomfortable. That's all it is.
Like the most progressive, like, sex ed class. I live in California, okay? And when I got sex ed as a kid, you know, I did go through that class. You don't ask the instructor about their genitals, and, like, it's not even really the kid's fault. It's the fact that this environment was placed there that makes that an acceptable question. That they brought...
What? It's not the kid's fault. It's the fact that they're teaching this topic, and so the kid was asked that because they were influenced by... What? Okay, Blaire.
Brought in some guy with pink hair who is probably not an expert in anything, just as some trans guy.
These body parts did not work for my body, and everybody is going to find out who they are in different ways, whether that's...
Oh, this right here? This right here, the everybody or 0.002%. This is actually... This was literally edited in by Question LGBT EDU, from my understanding. So literally Blaire White, once again, showing clips that were uploaded by the anti-LGBT group. Also, I don't think it's 0.002% of people are trans. Pretty sure the number's a bit bigger than that. Hold on, let's check really quick. Percentage of trans people. Let's see. I wouldn't put it past a hate group to lie like that with statistics. Let's see. Can we get a percentage? Control F %. Sexual orientation of transgender people. In 2015, the American National Center for Transgender Equality conducted a national transgender discrimination survey. Of the 27,715 transgender and non-binary people who took the survey, 21% said the term queer best described their sexual orientation. Okay, so this isn't what I'm looking for. Go a little slower. 41% of transgender people reported having attempted suicide. Law, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for demographics. They found that transgender people make 0.3% of the population in the European Union. In Canada, they found that 11%... Wait. Out of 1,897% of LGBT people, 11% identified as transgender. Pretty sure it's not 0.002% of people that are trans. Nice dishonesty there, though.
Surgery, whether that's hormones or whether it's nothing at all.
Okay, so first of all, I have a bit of an issue with teaching kids who there is about a 99.999% chance that none of the kids in that room are trans, that like surgery and altering your body is the answer to bodily insecurities or being uncomfortable with certain body parts, because I'm looking at these young girls in this class, and I know that young girls go through so much in terms of body image. And it seems like a very toxic message to be up there standing amongst these kids saying that we all have a different journey, whether it's altering our bodies through surgery or through hormones. These young girls probably think about...
What? That's literally not a point. That, like, literally, educating people on that process, or educating kids on that process, is not going to result in them being like, okay, I'm self-conscious, I'm going to transition now. That's literally not what's going to happen from that. In fact, this is the same as saying, yeah, some people when they, like, let's say when we teach kids in school about certain surgeries and for certain ailments, right? Like, let's say, we teach kids in school about the polio vaccine, right? Whoa, but if we teach kids about the polio vaccine, what if they get sick one day, they think they have polio, and they try to get the fucking polio vaccine? Like, it literally... How is that a point? Saying, oh, they might end up wanting to transition because they feel self-conscious?
Surgeries to fix, maybe they're insecure about their nose or their weight or whatever, a completely different message gets conveyed to them. Yes, a lot of trans people do get surgery for gender dysphoria, but of course he never mentioned gender dysphoria at all because they never
Oh, well, actually they did. I've seen the whole video of this. I've seen, like, the unedited entire documentary that was done about this, but Blaire White has only seen the clipped version from LGBT EDU, the literal anti-LGBT hate site, or hate group. So it makes sense to me that Blaire White... so here's the question, though. Has Blaire White seen the whole thing, or does she only consume anti-LGBT content, and so she is, so she's only watched, the clip show put together by anti-LGBT, whatever the fuck. I don't know. Now, here's where you have to kind of parse out, is Blaire White super biased, super stupid, or super dishonest? It's up for you guys to decide. But they did teach that
there is a medical condition that goes along with being...
They did teach about, ooh, are we about to get the spicy take here from Blaire White?
All because they never like to admit that there is a medical condition that goes along with being trans, ever. So when you don't make...
Okay, nice. Well, that's just anti-science, Blaire. I'm sorry to say it, but if you think that you have to have gender dysphoria to be trans, I'm sorry, but that's anti-science. Simple as that. It just is. Nowhere in the scientific definition or understanding of transgenderism does it say you have to have gender dysphoria to be trans. You identify as a gender different from that you were assigned at birth, and you are trans. Simple as that. Non-binary people are valid. That's the hot take right there. Hello, Elise Reds. Welcome to the stream. I see you in Twitch chat there. Come on and just hop into the website chat, pigpuncher.com/live. It's super fun here. All right.
Distinction that's for a specific diagnosis, that sometimes the treatment is surgery. You're then telling these young kids, if you're uncomfortable with your body, surgery is the answer. No.
Hi, I'm Nadine.
There's literally no fucking implication there whatsoever. All right, let's see this.
A sex educator.
And I'm Eva, a sex researcher.
I use the pronouns she and her.
Never would have guessed. Thanks for letting me know.
Today we have our dolls, Ginger and Blue. They are gender flexible today, so you can use any pronoun you want for them.
They're dolls, sweetie.
True or false?
You know you know how like in courts, like whenever you have like a kid that's been like molested by somebody, they go into the court and they have like a doll and they're like, show us on the doll where they touched you. You know how they do that in like court, because usually like having a physical, like a doll or something to represent a person is a pretty good way to get kids to understand a certain topic, like younger kids. Nice.
There's no right or wrong age to fall in love.
This is true. People fall in love at all different kinds of ages.
Okay, I'm not trying to attribute any sort of like, ill will on the part of the instructors here, but I would have liked maybe a clarification that I guess you can technically fall in love at any age, but there is a certain age window that is appropriate for them to fall in love with and for people to fall.
Sure, listen, there are literally people who met in fucking high school and end up growing up and getting married and they're in love. There are people who've met in fucking as young as like in elementary school and probably remained childhood friends their entire lives, fell in love with each other and got married when they turned 18 or 20 or whatever the fuck. Like this is not something to take issue with here.
Fall in love with them. I feel like telling kids just blanket like you can fall in love at any age. Like, to me, just as someone who is maybe more in tune with like predators than most people, because I tend to cover a lot on my channel, I would not tell a kid that personally. That just reeks of like, yes, an adult can fall in love with you. And maybe I'm looking too deep into that, but
okay, so for starters, we didn't see the whole clip there, and I guarantee they went on for like 10 minutes explaining it after like the true or false question. I saw most of like the whole documentary of this, but once again, Blaire cutting out everything before we can get the rest. Great.
That was just my initial reaction to them saying that and them just moving past it.
Link to the whole
Can I go off
thing?
now?
Oh god.
Let's go off.
Here it comes. Here comes the fucking bigoted rant. I'm ready, Blaire. Here, we're gonna turn it up a little faster because Blaire talks very slow because she just barely had to get the video to 10 minutes, you know? You know how it is, you gotta get that ad revenue, gotta pay for those fucking hair extensions and clip-on nails, you know? Here it comes.
Okay, so I do not think there's anything inherently wrong with, at a certain point, obviously, if a kid asks a question, maybe they see two men holding hands in the grocery store aisle, maybe they see someone who looks like they may have been born a boy, but they're actually presenting as a girl, kids spot that kind of stuff. Kids are not dumb. I'm not sitting here saying we have to shield the kids from everything that is to
You literally are saying that, and on top of that, I know what you're about to say. Like, oh, if they ask about it, like, oh, just go ahead and just explain it to them as much as they need to know. Why not have someone who is, like, an expert in these topics, which the people that were shown in that documentary that were teaching the class were experts on these topics, okay? Why not have, like, someone who is an expert on the topic and has an education about it teach kids about these things rather than fucking, like, your parent who knows jack shit about trans issues explaining it. Like, if you're just gonna insist that, oh, your parents should teach it to you, you're gonna get some pretty fucking terrible results from that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Do with LGBT? Absolutely not. But there's a certain way to go about it, in my opinion, that is appropriate, and that is, when and if I have children in the future, when they start to ask questions about gay people or whatever, I will say, little Timmy, little Dorothy, that man is holding hands with that man because some men fall in love with other men and women with other women, and that's that. Nothing more, nothing less. That is normal. But going into this non-binary, genderqueer, I'm a boy today, I'm a girl tomorrow, blah, 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 it's all just, it comes across as indoctrination, it comes across as inappropriate, and I don't think anyone or anything benefits from this being taught to young kids in school. And to anyone who disagrees.
I love that you think that, Blaire. You stupid piece of shit. But I'm gonna be honest with you here. You are not an expert, and you know jack shit about this. You have no education on these issues. If you did, you wouldn't be reeing about you need gender dysphoria to be trans constantly. But hey, you're welcome to debate me on it. Hit me up on Discord. Hit me up on email. My email's in the description. Go ahead. Indoctrination, yeah. It's just like the Jews indoctrinating the kids into thinking that climate change is real. Same argument conservatives have been making forever.
agrees with me, I pose this question, answer it in the comments. If the purpose is to increase acceptance of LGBT people among young people and therefore raise a generation that is more kind and more accepting, which I personally am for, obviously, then why is it that as we're at the peak of LGBT education and teaching young kids about it and, you know, complete saturation in the media, everyone's talking about it all the time, that simultaneously acceptance among young people for the first time in a long time is going down for LGBT people?
Because of people like you, Blaire. Blaire, I'm not lying. It's because of people like you. People like you are the reason why young people are being radicalized to the right and are becoming less accepting of LGBT people. That's simple as that. It's large public figures, because like we are seeing a huge like fascist. Like I'm not even kidding here. Like we are actually teetering on the edge of a fascist takeover. If you watch Vosh, you probably heard him talk a lot about it. He likes to get into like the really wait, am I not focused? Wait, what the fuck? Focus. He likes to get into like the really academic reasons for this, like the systemic and academic reasons for all of this. But the problem is that the centrist, liberal, capitalist status quo isn't working for the majority of people. And so we're seeing people fleeing, especially young people, fleeing to the extremes. For me, originally, I went to the extreme right. I was pulled to the extreme right. Now I'm to the extreme left. Many others will be pulled to either the extreme left or the extreme right. So, for example, let's say we have an issue that everybody is having to deal with, such as the pressure to get a job and to provide financially in an economy or in a system that is poised against you, right? So someone who's being radicalized to fascism would watch videos from a fascist who tell them, hey, it's not your fault, it's the Jews. The Jews are pushing an anti-white agenda that is against you, and they're trying to bring in brown people to take over, make you a minority, and on top of that, they're going to take your jobs, and they're fucking you up, and you're going to be poor because of them, and you're not going to be able to get a job. So that's what a fascist would tell you, and that's why people are getting pulled towards fascism. A leftist, a progressive would tell you, actually, it's capitalism. Capitalism is the problem, and we need to have a socialist revolution because people who are born richer than any of us will be are exploiting us for their labor value, and we need to do something about it. So these are sort of the opposite ends of this political tug of war between fascism and leftism that we're seeing right now. And Blaire White is on the... would Blaire White be considered a fascist? Maybe not directly, but she is on the spectrum. She is closer to being a fascist than she is to being a progressive. This is unquestionably. Blaire White is closer to being a fascist than a progressive. So she is on that end of the tug-of-war fight, you know?
Well, that to me is a problem. What that reads to me is this is a backlash. This is a reaction to the oversaturation of LGBT stuff being in the media constantly and the forcing things on kids that is happening now within LGBT discourse. In my opinion, LGBT activists who honestly most of the time do not speak for the average LGBT person are creating their own backlash by doing this type of stuff, which is not good for the average LGBT person who has to deal with the ramifications of that backlash, which is now acceptance is going down for the first time. Like, really? All right, guys. That is it for this video.
There's literally no merit to that. This is the same argument as saying, like, oh, if we teach kids in school, like, if we go back to, like, slavery times or, like, segregation times, like, oh, if we teach kids in school that, like, black people are people and you shouldn't fucking lynch them or be racist towards them, and then make the same argument that, well, if we teach them too much of that, then they're going to start hating black people because they're being pushed on them. Like, there's literally no merit to that point. Shut up, Blaire.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you're not.
Okay, here's where she shills. Okay. So I can't believe this, but I've come out of this video thinking that Blaire White is an even bigger, slimier piece of shit than she was before. So not only did she get all of the clips and whatnot that she pulled for this video from a literal anti-LGBT hate group, but she also deceptively edited the clips to leave out anything that would have somebody who is sort of in the center watching those clips from thinking, oh, actually that wasn't that bad, why are you overreacting to that? She deceptively edited the clips that were deceptively edited by the anti-LGBT hate group, which is very spicy. But hey, Blaire, fuck you. If you want to debate me, hit me up. My email's in the description, and trans rights.